Hello, everyone, or as the Germans would say, Hallo und willkommen. Welcome to the very first webinar of our webinar series called Global Career Launchpad. Today's session is titled Study in Germany with No Tuition Fees. Now, this session is being recorded and the recording will be uploaded on our social media handles very soon. The purpose of this being done live is such so that we can also interact with you. So we will be doing a Q&A towards the end of the session. So feel free to ask any questions about whatever we would cover in the session or anything about the destination that you may be thinking of. So the session has been intentionally titled No Tuition Fees because that's what most Indian students have been hearing in recent times. It has some truth to it, but the whole truth is somewhat different. Most students also tend to choose Germany over several other destinations, thinking that it's very less expensive or cheaper than most destinations. Again, there is some truth to it, but the whole truth is something different, and we would try to explore that today. It's important to know that studying at a lower cost in Germany is only possible if certain criteria are met. And this session is supposed to give you a sense of those criteria, help you set the right expectations about the country, about the universities. And if you go there, you would have an overall fulfilling experience. So, if I take things further, let's first figure out why Germany has recently gained so much popularity as a study abroad destination. Well, Germany has over 450 universities and institutions. It is the number one European destination at the moment, considering the number of Indian students who are planning to study there or the number of students who are currently studying in Germany. The tuition fees at public universities is €0. We'll be understanding more about it as we go further. And it is considered as the third largest economy in the world after US and China. Its universities produce graduates who are hired by top companies like BMW Motors, Siemens, Volkswagen, Bosch, SAP. Now, these are some of the most respected engineering and technology companies, not just in Germany, but on the whole planet. Now, when we speak to students who visit us at our institute, we have got to know that there are six key reasons why Indian students are preferring Germany over other destinations. First is its world-class education. Universities like TU Munich or LMU Munich both rank in the top 100 universities in the world. Universities like RWTH Aachen is ranked among the top 10 universities in the world outside the US. Heidelberg is Germany's oldest university. These are just names of some institutions whose degrees are recognized and respected by not just employers in Germany, but all over the world. Second, Germany is a research powerhouse. It has over 18,000 research institutions. The percentage of GDP that Germany spends on research and development is higher than any country in the world right now. So when you study there, you are not just getting a degree. You are being trained in an environment where discovery or innovation is deeply ingrained into its culture. The third reason is post-study work opportunities or jobs. Germany gives you an 18-month job seeking visa after graduation. Germany needs about 4 lakh skilled workers every single year. The country is actively looking for people like you. Once you land a job with a salary of above approximately 45,000 euros per year, you are eligible to get the EU Blue Card, which is Germany's and Europe's fast track path towards permanent residency. The fourth reason is that the country offers more than 2,000 English taught programs. While learning German language is always an advantage, it is not a barrier of entry for most programs, especially for postgraduate degrees. The fifth reason is that the country offers an exceptional quality of life. Germany has universal health insurance for students, which costs approximately 110 euros a month. Public transport over there is very efficient, and for students, it is subsidized. It's at a lower fare. The cities in Germany are very safe. Germany has a very strong and well-established Indian community at different cities like Munich, Berlin, Aachen, and also many other cities elsewhere. Finding an Indian restaurant, an Indian temple, or being a part of cultural events in Germany is pretty common. So the transition for an Indian student into Germany is not as difficult as what most Indians might think. Last but not the least, it opens opportunities across Europe. As a student in Germany, you have access to the Schengen area. So you can travel to 26 countries globally. Sorry, you can travel to 26 countries freely. So it could be countries like France, Italy, Netherlands, Austria, or even Switzerland. The experience of living and studying in the heart of Europe is something that shapes your personality or your perspective, your career in a way that just a classroom won't do enough. So overall, the destination has a lot to offer. That is why it has a lot of hype among the Indian student community. Now, let's understand this trend with some recent data. This data is from DARD, also known as the German Academic Exchange Service. This institution is mainly responsible in maintaining a detailed database of university courses, admissions, and scholarships in German universities. You may also know of that from its very own and very popular scholarship program, which provides up to 1,300 euros per month as stipend to select candidates. Now, according to that, more than 4,20,000 international students are enrolled in German universities in the 2025-2026 academic year. That's up from 2,89,000 students just about 5 years ago. So the number of students in Germany is rising steadily. Now, out of the 4,20,000 students who are in Germany as per the current year, if we account for the number of first year students, as in the number of students who got enrolled in German universities this year, that figure is at around 99,000. And that figure is also 9% higher than the previous academic year. So overall, the figures are suggesting that this destination is able to attract a lot of global talent. And when it comes to different countries that end up sending their talent, Indian students are becoming the driving force behind this. Over the past 5 years, enrollments from India have nearly tripled. So from roughly 20,810 students in 2018-2019 to nearly 60,000 students today. India now ranks as the largest source country for international students in Germany. Most of these Indian students are pursuing courses in the field of STEM, basically science, technology, engineering, math. They're also pursuing some business courses, courses related to management, finance, economics, and even some other research related fields. Now, in some recent turn of events, Mr. Friedrich Merz, who is the current Chancellor of Germany, he recently visited India in January 2026. During his visit, India and Germany signed the Indo-German Roadmap on higher education. As per this bilateral agreement, Germany plans to streamline its student visas and scholar visas and expand cross-border academic opportunities for Indian students who want to study in Germany. Now, this is going to show very positive and substantial improvements for Indian students flying to Germany in 2026 and the years coming ahead. So, what does all of this mean to you? I've thrown a lot of stats, data towards you right now, and this would make you think whether you should be going there. But if you want to think of it very realistically, I would recommend you to contemplate and deeply think about two important questions. The first question is, should you study in Germany just because it is free? Remember that it's not 100% free. You at least have to spend a little for your living expenses in Germany. So, to help you answer this question for yourself, first allow me to explain to you the difference between tuition and fee. So, in universities, tuition is the cost you pay for instruction. Basically, it's the money you pay so that it goes for salaries of professors, lecturers, or research assistants at the university. While fees, or as the Germans call it, Semesterbeitrag, is a mandatory amount that you have to pay every 6 months because it covers some of these administrative costs like the student union fee or a club membership fee. You may also have to pay a small fee so that you can have access to their subsidized low cost transport for students. There are other sundry student initiatives where, again, you would have to pay a small amount every semester. So let's dive into some of these figures in detail. Now, if you get to study in a public university, the government or indirectly the taxpayers of Germany are going to pay for your tuition, which is a substantial amount of a student's expense. Now, you might probably think, why are German taxpayers or why is the German government so open to bringing people from other countries and paying for their education? Well, they mainly do this to attract global talent. As I mentioned earlier, this is a developed nation and it always has a shortage for skilled labor. So it is trying to fill those shortages of skilled labor. Now, don't get me wrong here. There are enough people in the world, in every country. But when it comes to skilled individuals with certain specific skills that are required in the world of work nowadays, there is a shortage in the developed world and they are trying to fill that gap as much as possible. Another big reason why they fund your education is that they want to foster an overall international goodwill. I mean, think about it. Uh, there are so many students in India right now who are dreaming of studying in Germany, and that is all because of the lower cost or the subsidized education that they offer. So it is creating this global appeal that many other destinations are finding to have among students, especially in the Indian community. Now, if we look into some other costs, you will have to pay the semester fee or the semester beitrag, which costs around 100 to 400 euros every 6 months. You would also have to fund for your living expenses, which includes rent, food, health insurance, transport, your utility bills like the internet, electricity, water bills. You would also have a little bit of personal or leisurely expenses as well. Now, if we want to have a conservative estimate, we can round this number off to 1,000 euros per month, provided that you are willing to live a very simple and frugal life and you're not expecting a very luxurious lifestyle. At Akshay Study Abroad Consultants, we prefer getting students admitted to these public universities, not just because they are cheaper, but because of the high quality education that they offer. Now, on the other hand, there are private universities. They are costlier, but they because they do not get funding from the German government, So you would end up paying anywhere between 5,000 euros to 20,000 euros per year just in tuition. The semester fee and the living cost can be considered same as studying in public universities, considering they are mostly in uh, the bigger cities. Now, if you're not able to secure an admission in a public university, you should still think about studying in a private university, provided that the university that you are going to and the degree that they're offering is recognized by the German government, the companies that you would end up working in. So if it is coveted, well recognized, you shouldn't sweat about the higher cost. Yes, agreed that it is more expensive than the public universities. But if you select the right course and you are someone who's going to have very strong career prospects after graduation, it is well worth taking that chance. The experience of living, studying, and working in Germany is something that you would find to be way more valuable than the money that you would spend over there. So ultimately, weigh in the value proposition and don't just look at one monetary figure and decide whether you should go or not. Now, the second important question you must ask yourself is, should I study in Germany just because other students are also going there? Well, that actually comes down to whether you are a kind of person who wants to follow a crowd or whether you want to pursue what you truly want. Well, I cannot tell you what you want from your life because you know yourself better than anyone else in the world. But I can definitely help you set some realities about the destination and the universities there so that if you decide to go there, you would know what's coming and you would be very well prepared for it. So here's what to expect from Germany in 2026 and the years ahead. The first thing to expect is the rising competition in admissions. You already saw the data earlier that there is a rising number of international students in Germany. More and more students from India are applying to German universities every year, especially for these English taught master's programs or for these public universities in Germany. If you have a very strong profile, which means that you have a high GPA, you have a very well written statement of purpose, and you have scored really well in your English exams like the IELTS or the TOEFL or the Duolingo, then if you have this combination, then you would be able to cut a lot of that competition. Applying early, well before the deadlines, will also help you beat a lot of this competition. Secondly, you must have a strong command over the German language. It matters a lot. While more universities are offering these English taught programs, you should know that ultimately when you start working there, the the workplaces would require you to have high levels of German language proficiency, basically the B1, B2 level proficiency as per the CAFR. Um, it's not just being eligible for a job. Your cultural integration depends heavily on how well you understand their language. So ensure that you start learning German language early. Ideally, we recommend students to start 1 to 2 years before they fly to Germany. We recommend students to complete the B1 level at least before they fly to Germany, and eventually they can continue learning as they pursue their degrees over there. The third is the STEM and research pathways. They have the best prospects. Courses like engineering, data science, IT, or these other research focused programs help in developing long term careers, which are also financially very rewarding to you. Fourth, the job market is not as easy as it used to be. Germany still needs skilled workers. We've already talked about the the annual demand of skilled workers, which is huge. But if you have strong technical skills, but your German language skills are weak, expect more rejections and more challenges in finding jobs. The same is the other way around. So if you're just knowing the German language, but your technical skills aren't up to the mark, you won't be able to make the cut. You must also have these technical skills that are needed for the job. The job market is also getting more competitive due to the rising number of students graduating from universities every year. So you don't just need to be talented, your talents need to be exceptional. Graduating from a top university in Germany does not guarantee a job. You must keep networking, make meaningful connections with people in the industry, people in the world of universities, and you should be able to prove your skills, your talents through your projects, through your internship experiences. You can't just say that you're skilled at it. You should be able to show it. Now, the fifth thing to expect is the increased operational challenges. In recent times, some students experienced delays with visa approvals. There was some difficulty in finding the right accommodation near the university. There is also a rising cost of living in developed economies like Germany. The German government is actively working on these issues. For example, Germany recently rolled out this feature in which they have digitized the whole visa approval process. So that has reduced the turnaround time of visas by a very high margin. We advise our students to plan their finances very realistically and take into account some buffer for these rising costs or for these delays. So always keep some time and also some money and use it as needed. Accommodation issues can be managed. Yes, it is somewhat challenging because of the rising demand, but if you begin your search for accommodation well in advance, you won't face the kind of issues that most students would. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Germany is for very selective, talented students, highly skilled students. It's not for everyone. So there are some specific qualities that are needed in you so that you cannot just survive there, but thrive in your study and your work experience in Germany. Firstly, you need to have a strong sense of leaning towards your academics. Sometimes we meet students who say that they have a graduate degree, but they don't wish to pursue a career in the field that is relevant to their education. So if you intrinsically lack interest in the degree that you have pursued or the industries that are relevant to your education, then it will get seen in your application in some way or the other. Even if you pretend that you have interest during the application process, and if you do get admitted, you may find that later on it's very difficult to find jobs in Germany. It's not because you're not skilled, it's just that you might not have the interest and it would be clearly visible to the employers. So being really passionate about your field and being able to prove it through your application process is a key requirement nowadays. Second, take actions early and be very strategic with these actions. If you are sending applications on the last date, you have a very high chance of getting rejected. Applying early is an implied sign to the university that you are sincere and you are deeply interested in studying at the universities you are applying to. You must also avoid applying to every university you know of. Read research about the universities in Germany, shortlist universities that offer programs that are related to your interests, and only apply to a handful number of universities that meet those qualities. You must also have an assessment of your own profile. Check whether you have the qualities that are similar to or better than the qualities of students who got admitted to those universities before you. Now, in this regard, the counselors at our institute can be of great help because they've guided so many students. They know the history of students who have got admitted to German universities. They would be able to easily tell whether you are someone who's fit or not. Next, learn their mother tongue as much and as quickly as you can. I cannot emphasize uh, more than what it's actually needed. The language has this pronunciation, this grammar that is somewhat challenging for many Indian students to pick up um, because it's very conflicting with a lot of rules that we learn in English grammar. For example, if you are writing a name, which is a common noun, in English, you write it with the first letter capital. But um, in German language, common nouns are capitalized. So this is one example of a conflicting rule. Um, the pronunciation of this language is also a bit difficult to pick up. For example, whenever we see the letter S in some words, we use the S sound. But in the German language, sometimes the S letter would have a Z sound. If it is like a word, if it appears before vowels, like zone, um, then it can also sound like the letter S or S at the end of words before consonants. For example, das, which means 10. It can also sound like sh at the start of words if it's before P or a T, like Sport or sport in English. So it has a bit of a learning curve and you need time for that grasping. Last but not the least, do not expect a very easy laid back life after you get there. In your initial years, you have to study, work really hard, and you will have to make some sacrifices of your personal time and spend it on getting better at your skills, networking, or just studying and doing well at university. Some students tend to feel a very high sense of achievement when they finally land in Germany, thinking that they've made it in life. But remember that this is just the beginning. You have worked hard from India to get this entry ticket to Germany. And then comes the time when you have to actually grind and make your way up so that you can stay there in the long term. So overall, if you find yourselves being able to check these boxes, if you have these qualities, you have a very high chance of getting through the application process. And in your life over there, you would be able to do really well. At Akshay Study Abroad Consultants, we offer the best in class services for test preparation, language training, university applications, student visa assistance, and other pre departure services. Since the last 24 years, we have guided over 700 students to get placed in German universities, and 95% of them studied or are studying in public universities, which are basically institutions that cut down the cost of education by nearly two-thirds. 99% of the students we assisted got their visa successfully, and later on in their life, in their careers, we find that they seem to be doing really well. We offer a counseling services package at the moment, which costs 30,000 rupees, and it includes everything that you see being listed, except the top two, which is the GRE, TOEFL, IELTS training, and the German language training. Those training courses have a separate fee. Our fees for training and counseling are quite reasonable and very competitive in pricing, considering what most students pay to counselors, especially in these metro cities like Mumbai and Pune. So, That is it from me. Thank you for patiently listening and attending this session. I hope you found this helpful. We are now open for question and answers from our live participants. Uh, if you guys have any questions, feel free to use the Zoom chat and you can drop in your questions. And I would also like to invite Ms. Pallavi Patil. She is the head of applications to Germany. So she would be able to answer some of your more specific university related questions, anything that would go beyond my scope. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to share in the chat. If you guys do not have any questions, feel free to share any feedback. We would like to hear your reaction to whatever we were able to share today. Our aim was to give you a perspective, something that goes beyond the mainstream narrative about this place. So, if there's anything that you found helpful in the session, feel free to let us know.
Good evening, everyone. I can see a question in the chat box. What are the typical GPA or percentage requirement for public universities in Germany? So this is a actually very good question that every student, aspiring student, thinks about. So the typical GPA that you can say we can consider for public university is above 8.5, considering the competition at present. So the better the GPA, the better the chances. Because this GPA is finally converted into German grade. So higher the GPA, typically you can say above 8 is a good GPA.
But remember, students, that it's not just the GPA, your intent of studying there matters, how you show your intent through your statement of purpose, your German language proficiency, all these factors come into account. There's a very holistic process to the assessment. Your grades do matter, but so are the other aspects that we talked about.
Next question is how competitive are public universities for international students? So yes, the public universities are becoming highly competitive nowadays, and they not only look for your GPA. Obviously, it is one of the considering factor, but the overall profile of a student, his work experience, his internships, his leadership qualities, extracurricular activities, voluntary services, all these matters when you are considering a public university in that matter. So, how many backlogs are accepted in German universities? So, public universities generally prefer the students without any backlog, but you can say one or two backlog is okay if you properly explain that in your SOP. What made you go for that backlog? If you explain it particularly, we can consider.
William, ma'am, let me read out another question from the chat. What is one common mistake in your experience that students have been making in their application process?
All right. One common mistake I would say is the students sometimes don't actually find out what they really want. Just because some other people have applied and they have gone to public universities, they also apply. Say they don't generally analyze what they actually want and what are their future goals exactly. So that is the thing where students generally go wrong.
Very
Shortlisting
true.
for universities is one of the criteria. because nowadays universities are looking into the bachelor's curriculum, whether it is aligning with their master's degree or not. Do they have any extra courses taken? So all these factors are to be considered.
Correct. That's also something that that I agree with. That is also why we made sure that it got covered in today's talk. So do make sure that you truly know what you want, see if the destination offers it to you, and if there is a match, then you're good to go. So there's a follow-up question from the same student. How realistic is it to manage part-time work along with studies?
Yeah. So this is actually a good question. So, see how we have been into the Indian education, which is typically prescribed lectures and whole day sessions, right? But in Germany, or for that matter, any other country abroad, uh, students get enough time uh, to do their part-time job as well as their lectures, because they are scheduled already and they are not the whole day. So in a day or in a week, they will have 3 to 4 lectures. That too at a different timing. So student gets enough time to earn as well. So it's not that difficult. Initially, 1 or 2 months you will get time to adjust to your schedule, and then easily you can carry on with your part-time jobs.
Let me take up another question, Pallavi ma'am, which is relevant to jobs. The question is, what level of German proficiency is required for part-time jobs in Germany?
All right. So I would say that generally a B1 proficiency and above that would fetch you a higher pay job, because
Yeah,
even A2 is a bit basic level that student learn here. B1, B2 is the advanced level that must be there with the student to get a high pay job.
yeah, correct. There's a follow-up question from the same student. How long does the German student visa process take for the application approval process?
All right. So a typical visa approval time period, you can say around 10 to 30 days. So it
All
again
right.
depends on your university, on the documents you are submitting. So everything is checked. If suppose if you have applied to a top ranked public university, you can expect your visa within 10 to 15 days. So it depends. It also depends on the applications they have received for a particular intake. So generally summer intakes visas come early than the winter intake.
Okay. We have a course-related question here in the chat. So, Pallavi ma'am, would you say that international management is a good course option to pursue in Germany?
International management, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this course particularly is not mostly offered by the public universities. We have courses related to it, but not exactly international management. We have international management, engineering management club with that. So many private universities provide this kind of program, like MBAs in international management, international business. So private university, a very few public universities have these courses. Generally, engineering, technology-based programs are offered by the public universities.
Now, the next question can get a bit technical here. What's the difference between Frey and non-Frey applications? The student says he's heard of this through some online platform. So, can you please explain those terminologies?
Can you spell that, sir? It's
Again, I'm not sure. It's FREI.
free.
Yes.
I think basically it is about the tuition, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a
So
German term that we're not familiar with, but yeah, would
yeah,
you like to elaborate?
there is a university called Frey University. I want to know if the student wants to know about that university or it,
Yeah, I guess the student would have heard you. Let's see if there is any clarity on that. Let's move on to jobs again.
Mhm,
So, how realistic is it to? Oh, sorry, I think we already took that question.
mhm.
The next question that the same student had is, how do companies in Germany generally view international students when it comes to hiring? Basically, I think the question is whether there are any special requirements that international students need to fulfill compared to a local student or resident there.
Yes. So I would like to add to this. When I interacted with our ex students who are currently working there in Germany, so their insight was that you the experience that you have gained in your home country does not matter that much for your job that you're going to do in Germany. So what really matters is the current work culture, that are you aware about that culture or not, the basic technical terms that are used in Germany are where in the interview all these things are tested. Of course, the technical knowledge along with the willingness of the student to accept the culture that German is following in their work. So that is basically what you need to learn.
Yeah. Let me also take up another question. What are the charges at ESAC for Germany process? Okay, so if you are looking for counseling, which involves your university applications and visas, other aspects like the accommodation, the whole financial planning. So we have a counseling package that is worth 30,000 rupees, and it covers everything from your university applications till the time you fly there. We help you arrange your accommodations, everything in that regard, foreign exchange, insurances. So that covers everything. And just to clarify, this is a fee that we charge. Other expenses that you pay to for visas, for accommodation, every other entity would be different. Okay, let me check if I have covered all the questions or whether I want to make sure that I'm not missing any question. Okay, looks like that's about it. These are all the questions that we had. Thank you for these very detailed, insightful questions. Shows that you guys were really interested with today's talk and you found it to be helpful. Whenever we conduct these sessions and if we have a lot of questions coming in, it's a clear sense of indication that there is deep interest in this subject matter and hopefully what we delivered was something that provided some value, some perspective to you. Again, we at Akshay Study Abroad Consultants offer you the best in class services in terms of your preparation for exams, for your university applications, visas, everything in between. So if you wish to take assistance such that your process becomes smoother, more efficient, it helps you save a lot of money in the process, do make sure that you get in touch with us. As I did show in the previous slide, we have our contact details, which I will bring up on the screen again. You can reach out to us via various mediums. It could be our website. You can drop in an inquiry there. We have our number through which you can reach out to us on call or on WhatsApp. If you want to write to us, please email to us at akshayabrod@gmail.com, and we would love to assist you in this process. So that is it from me and my team. Hope to see you again for our upcoming seminars. If you do think that we should be conducting these webinars on some specific topics, please let us know by getting in touch with us. We would love to know what your interests are and respond to you with content, with insights that would cater to your interests. So, thank you, everyone. Goodbye.